Uh-oh.
Don't have that instinct automatically, because remember, some of this stuff is genetic. They either have it or they don't, right? This is what it's all about, people. Attack, good boy! He must know that I'm in the dog fight with him. I'm next to him side by side. We have a bond that's unbreakable. I told you.
Yeah,
It's fire, right?
full of fire.
It's fire. Let's go live on IG. I forgot. Yes. Boom.
All right, let me do that.
Boom. You did it?
It is doing it now. Go live. Oh, wait, it's still.
It's going to go. Let me see, right now. I could tell you 12.
Is it going now? Because I don't see it.
Let's see here. Did you click it?
Well, I don't even see the option anymore. I'd already entered the stream key.
Try it again.
Well, it's got a check mark. Am I live already? It says I'm live.
Oh, good.
I'm there.
Woo! I told you this will work, right?
Absolutely.
People, thanks for tuning in today. They already got the comments rolling in. I like the Cane Corso,
It's
but
not for
definitely
everyone.
right. So, people, thanks for tuning in today. I try to get at least one of these in a week where I talk to special breeders around the United States about their particular breed that they love. Because I do believe that breeders supposed to love the breed they're in before the monetary aspects. So I want to say, hey, thank you, Ericka from 12 Titans Kennels to come in.
Where are your sound effects at?
I know.
It's supposed to be like applause.
Right. So thanks for coming today. And I know you're busy. You got a bunch of little babies running around all the time. Yep. You got family, you got work. So for you to spend this kind of time with school, for you to spend this kind of time with me at what, 8:30? Is it 8:30?
8:30 here.
Wow. I'm in the bed watching Forensic Files by this time. Oh, it's watching me.
Even by this time, I'm not in the bed. Come on. I'm sure you're not in the bed. You're always working.
I'm winding down.
You're winding down?
I let the wife handle the other stuff. My job is to clean the poop and feed the dogs. And I'm good. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Let her deal with the cats.
The cats.
Okay. 2 of them. Yeah. So people, I requested Ericka to come to my show so we can talk about the Cane Corsos, because I've been seeing that this breed has been very, very popular now. And more people are getting them in the rows. And I'm like, they're just about as popular as Frenchies now.
I think they're up there.
Yeah. And I went to visit a friend of mine who breeds, get you a Presa Canero. And I had a huge issue in trying to decipher how to determine which one is which. Now I got it down pat.
Yeah, once you know, you can see it.
Once you know, right? Mm-hmm. But I want to talk to you about your breed because, number one, I never met a female breeder of the Cane Corso. Usually I meet female breeders of small breeds. But you're a female breeder, female black breeder of a large breed. That means you got to make sure you tell them who wear the pants around the yard, because they will try to bully you and try to, take advantage of you. And you definitely have to bring out that alpha instinct every now and then. So my question is, why the Cane Corso of all the breeds?
Yeah. I get that quite a bit, quite frankly. And it's kind of a long story and not really a long story. Um, I will say I have been raising animals, dogs, since I was little. So let's check that box off. I've had large breed dogs growing up, and you know, rescues, mutts, mixed breeds, pure. I think nobody cared at that point when we were younger. If you had a shepherd, and it kind of looked like a shepherd. It was a
Just
shepherd.
having a dog here was dope.
Yeah, just it was, and big dogs too. So I was already used to being around big dogs and small dogs. But the short answer is, I was going through, or I went through a divorce. The big dog that we had at the time was like an old lab, and she went with my ex. And now it was myself, and I found myself as a single mom of a 3-year-old. And I knew that I wanted to have another dog or dogs, but I also wanted to have more or less a guardian, a companion, but also something that was going to be a guardian, so I didn't look vulnerable, just myself and my daughter. Something that I could trust around my daughter, highly trainable. It needed to check all the boxes. And now I'm going to be dating myself because this was years ago, years ago, years ago. I didn't know anything about a Cane Corso. It was happenstance that my colleague was going through the process of importing his first Cane Corso. I didn't even know what it was. And he talked it up. I mean, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this dog, and I've been talking to this breeder, and they're in Italy." And at the time, I've had dogs all my life, but the concept of he's getting it like from not, from someone down the street, like he's really going to get it like from across the pond kind of thing. And he was excited, and I trusted this guy, so this wasn't like he wasn't being pompous. He was just genuinely excited, and he was talking about all this stuff, and he was talking about pedigrees, and it didn't mean anything to me. It had no meaning other than he was very excited. And watching him go through the process, and when he got the process, he had to bring in the pictures and the videos. I was like, oh, this is really great. And so when that happened, it wasn't right away, but I think it was a few months after that that he happened to have this function at his house. This was all work related, and we all went, and that's when we got to see this magical dog that he was just talking up. It was a female, and it was Formentino too. And when I saw her, I said, "Oh my God, this dog is gorgeous." I mean, the blue spray on the face, the build, the expression, the head,
Yeah.
ears were just, I don't know, whoever did that dog's ears, it was just perfect. And he had worked with her, so he would just like, she came, sat right, went around, sat on at his, came to heel, sat. And I said, "Oh my God, this dog is gorgeous." And she went around and sniffed everyone. He instructed us, just put your hand out. And we didn't approach her. We let her approach us, and we were on her territory, or whatever. And I don't know, I was smitten right then and there. And he did a few tricks and whatever. And then I guess when his vibe changed in terms of just relax, she just totally relaxed and just started playing. And at that point,
This
I believe the next day or the next time we went to work, I was like, "Who did you get that dog from? I need to get that dog. Whatever the cost, whatever. I really, really want that dog."
isn't that the guy you end up marrying?
No. No. This is way
I'm just
before.
joking. I'm
This
just
was
joking.
way before I met my now husband. Nope. This was
I'm just
way
joking.
before that. My introduction and foray with the Cane Corsos happened way before. Predates my now husband. Um, so I went through the process. I spoke to a
Same
couple. I
breeder.
spoke to originally did not end up with that one because I was really, they weren't one, they weren't ready, and they were just trying to kind of push a particular dogs on me, and I was like, no, no, I want to take some time. And I ended up getting in contact with another breeder. I'm not going to mention anything, but ended up coming up with another breeder uh, abroad, and a woman, I will say that. And I did feel comfortable in what she was telling me, and about the breed and some things, good, bad, or indifferent. I was attracted to what she was showing me, what the process that she said it would take, and I made that investment. In fact, I made the investment twice, like, because I didn't want just one dog. I wanted two. I wanted a male and a female. And it wasn't. And by the way, I'm a 9 to 5, or I have a career. This was
Yeah.
not. This was not because I was breeding. I had no intention of that. In fact, that was I never even thought about that. It was never my intention. But went through the process, got the male first, and then I think within like 4 months, got the female. And but they happened to be like only 2 months in age apart. So one could say they were the same age. They just were.
Two
I
different
didn't
litters.
two different litters, and I didn't get them at the same time. But anyway, um, and before they even came, like before I did all of this, I was ready. I mean, mentally ready to put the time and investment in. I mean, I was traveling, I was still doing things, at home with my daughter, working, all these things. But I said, I made a commitment in my head mentally. I'm going to have a routine. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to put the effort in. I'm going to do all those things because, one, after doing the research that I could do, I was not going to jeopardize having two dogs that were going to be, one, bigger than me, let alone two bigger than me, and possibly a threat to my daughter, who at the time was 3. So I was
Wow.
really committed to, I'm going to make this work. And I'll say this much: there was never really any doubt from me. I don't know. I don't think I ever was like, oh God, I'm scared. Oh no. I was like, we gonna make this work. This is gonna, these are my babies, and they really were. I mean, I spent countless days like doing things like, the first thing is, whatever the boundaries of your household is, you need to set that from day one. And it just so happened like the male was, he fell in love. There was nothing I couldn't tell him to do that he wouldn't do it. I mean, he would wash the car for a hot dog. It was like he would do anything I said. But female is a little bit, for whatever reason, she was a little bit more like, huh? Like, what do you mean? Like, I had to really reach for it. But anyway, together there were things for me like, you're not going to bum rush the door, right?
Right.
If my hand goes for the doorknob, you're going to sit right there. I can walk in and out all day long until I invite you to come out. Things like that. Or um anytime you hear a noise, you're not just going to constantly bark, bark, bark. We're going to assess the situation, and then we're going to determine whether or not it's a threat, and then we're going to act appropriately. You're not going to be, you know, things like that. Or just being able to walk. And I lived in at the time, the HOA neighborhood, sidewalks, all. So I wanted to be able to, people jogging. I wanted to be able to walk with my dog, come to the corner, them sit, let's walk. You see someone, you're not triggered because they're walking their dog. I lived in a community, so I needed them to be. And when I use the word socialization, I need
Yeah.
them to socialize, but it's not really, to me, socialization means you've been exposed. You are you're not triggered by the world. You've seen things, you've heard things, you're
No environmental
desensitized.
issues.
Right. You're desensitized to all those things. And at the end of the day, you're looking to me to lead. And so I spent a lot of time. And I'm not saying it was easy. I'm not saying it was a snap of the finger. There was like, I can tell you some horror stories where I left the female. I don't know what time it was, but let's say she was 8 months or something. I left her in my terrace level, which is like the basement, but I had my pool table and everything. I swear to God, I left her 5 minutes, what appeared to be 5 minutes. Maybe it was 10, maybe it was 15. Went up, came back, and she had chewed the leg over my pool table. My pool table was very, very expensive. So seeing my wooden decorative pool table with a leg chewed up, that was almost the end of that dog. That was
Yeah.
almost like, you're not gonna be here anymore. But so there's good, bad, and some questionable and some ugly. But I was committed to it, and I was like, let's make sure I do as the best I can to correct any behavior that was not appropriate, to reward the behavior that was well, and just make sure that I could take these dogs anywhere, or be anywhere, or be around people. And again, it wasn't because I was trying to breed. It wasn't, people didn't even know what this dog was. I would be walking, and they would literally stop the car, go in reverse, slow reverse, and I'm looking like, oh my God, are they following me? And then they're like, what kind of pit bull is that? I was, oh, this is not a pit bull. It's a Cane Corso. Okay, yeah, but what kind of pit bull? Like, no, the not pit bull kind, like the Cane Corso kind, and then I started that. Now that was the 2 years, like 2 years into it, I got my first. That's a cane. No, it's a Cane. What? A Cane Corso. Oh, a Cane Corso. Like they're correcting me. I'm like, oh, okay, no. And so I got a lot of attention from that, good, bad, or indifferent. Got a lot of attention, but ultimately, I say all that to say I stumbled onto the breed.
Hmm.
I wasn't looking for the breed. I was looking for something specific, and it checked the boxes. And though that first 4 years with them was beautiful because I made it work. And for all the just the growing up, the growing pains,
Yeah.
I had no regrets. I had no regrets. And I still didn't even look at them as, you know, even though they are guard dogs, they were just my babies. They were my babies. And they spawned because I'm a little bit of a history buff, nerdy. I am a little bit on the nerdy side. I named them Kronos and Gaia because I'm very much into
Gaia,
Greco-Roman.
Gaius.
Gaia, Gaia,
Gaia.
Mother Earth, Kronos and Gaia, Roman Greco mythology, and if you know anything about that, that's where the 12 Titan gods came from, and that's where that just came. That was just me, just like, oh, look, the mythology apart. It had nothing, and I do mean nothing to do with breeding the dogs,
You know what's
and that's where
interesting?
that's where it all started.
What's interesting is that a lot of people, women and men, um, will get something and that's they get something and it's codependent on them for the rest of their lives, and it's a fashion statement or it's trendy,
Mm.
and then within a year and a half, they get tired of it.
Well, it gets hard.
It gets hard, and I look at it like I always tell people at the end of my show, having a dog is a luxury, not a requirement.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a breathing creature that you are going to be responsible for every minute of the
Of the
hour.
day, it
Yes.
is completely dependent
Yeah.
upon you.
And some decisions you have to make for the dog that's the best for him, because the dogs are not going to think for themselves a lot of times.
Right.
Even with illnesses, I've had to put down dogs before,
Yeah.
that I know that the quality of life would not be the same
Right.
for them or me,
Yeah.
right? So
They're
let me ask you.
completely dependent upon you.
So let me ask you this. So when you're picking, because see, when I first started looking at dogs, a friend of mine was looking at shepherds, and I was looking at Dobermans, and he always had a certain look he was looking for, but I didn't know what he was looking at, right? And then I started the first time I imported a dog from Hungary, because I import all my males, like everyone. I asked her, I said, "What do you look for when you're picking a puppy?" She said, "The head."
Mhm.
And it dawned on me, I said, they like these big round domes, right?
Mhm.
So when you're looking for a male pup, or a male or a female, or both, what are the physical characteristics and what are the personalities that you're looking
Mhm.
for?
Yeah, it's definitely there is a phenotype that you're mentioning that we're looking for, I look for. And I think it holds true for the Cane Corso. It's head and its expression. So yes, I would definitely be looking for kind of that blockhead for sure. There is an expression in the forehead, the eyes, that draw you in, and I don't want to say it's wrinkles per se, but it is definitely a strong, um, broad protrusion in quite right there in that, the eye and that snout, that muzzle, that you can tell right away, like they're going to have a really good blockhead. um, but it's not just that. It definitely is. You can tell early, or there are markers. I'll say there are markers around um, the chest, kind of the whole their line and how they stand. I mean, and I'm not just talking about stacking them, putting them, but just
Yeah.
their normal gait and how they move. You can kind of tell. Um, you can also definitely tell in their back legs, their hips, like how are they naturally standing, and especially um, their toes. Are they standing up and they have those nice kitten tail
Kid
toe,
paws. That's what I'm
kitten
talking
paws?
about.
Are they,
I hate
are
flat
they
web feet. Oh my God, I hate that.
and you got to be careful because sometimes they kind of grow kind of they do go through a goat looking stage where they're kind of goaty looking and they're all discombobulated. But if you can get through that, you can tell, if they got some solid foundation. Um, the head in terms of like the jawline, so the profile. There is a classic Corso look, and when I say classic, I mean maybe more true to old rustic Italian lineage. And one can argue, domestically there may be variances and things like that. But if we go back to that old, that look, then that's Cayuse right there, that profile. They're going to have a certain look about them. And phenotypically, we want to stay in that vein. I mean that silhouette, that head, that structure. Um, and I think that's why people say like there is a look. Bloodlines have their unique look or a very, distinct, consistent look. And that's what we're always going for.
You've become, I know with the Dobie community, I'm pretty strong in this Doberman community. Like I would say I've put in the work.
Yeah.
I've made the L's.
You have to, you can't have wins without L's. You
I
can't
take
there's no way you can have wins without L's. How would you even know you're winning if you don't
that's
know
what
what
I'm
the
saying.
loss is?
So I know, like like you said, the markers. I know what I'm looking for my program. And I can tell from a puppy, 8, 10 weeks, what they could be looking like.
Mhm.
So I have a standard.
Mhm.
And my first two dogs that I got that I imported, one from Poland and the other one I imported from Hungary,
Mhm.
they set the tone. Like I'm not going beneath that. I'm not accepting, okay, well, they don't have this, so I'm going to settle. I'm not doing it. And I always say that dogs are not like I have a son. I have a couple of sons. I didn't pick and choose how tall they're going to be, what complexion, what eye color. I was given what God gave me, right? But when it comes to dogs, I'm not running a rescue. I'm going to buy what I like because I get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
The only thing that I rescued was my cat. Okay. So I'm not going to, and even then I said I wanted a black cat.
Right.
I'm just
You can choose your
I'm
rescue
picking
too.
my cat.
Right. You can choose them.
So I know I have that eye test now where, like you say, the gait. I can tell if a dog's going to be small at the age of 5 months on how shifty he moves, how coordinated he is. I could
Mhm.
tell by the thickness of his bone structure just by looking at the dock tail. If that dock tail is thick, he's going to be a very thick boned dog, right? If he has a narrow tail, I mean, you're not going to be thick at the tail and thin at the tail and thick at the legs. It's not happening. It goes,
Mhm.
the skeletal system is all consistent, right?
Mhm.
But that profile is, I like that, hold on, let me demonstrate. I, I like that,
Uh-oh, what is bloop, bloop, bloop.
right?
Yep, exactly.
I like that
That's
look,
that angular
right?
look.
I
Yeah,
don't like this look right here.
yeah.
I don't need no aerodynamics going on. You know what I'm saying? Am I right?
You're right.
The part Greyhound, but I like to have my boys to have a little diesel engine in them.
How about it?
I want
How
power,
about it?
right?
There you go.
So we talked about. So let me ask you a question. So are you importing? Have you always imported all your Cane Corsos, or are you buying them locally as well? domestically?
So it is well, it's the former with one exception. I did have one male years ago that I got domestic, but he's really never been in our program, and it's been some years now. He has since passed. But no, at this point, we I've always stuck to importing. And you know what? It's interesting because ever since I started importing, aside from the one meal, um, it was never even a thought to why would I get from a domestic breed? I want to go to the source. So it was a
You're
I don't
talking
know.
my
I don't.
language, girl.
Am I,
You're talking my
am I
language, girl.
but it was nothing against. I want to just make sure. I wasn't like being snooty. Oh, I'm never gonna get from another breeder. It was just. It didn't even dawn on me. It was like we're going to the source.
You know what? Listen, let me tell you why I import. It
No,
makes
okay.
complete sense. Let me get my pen and paper.
Now here we go. The formula. Cue the formulas. Yeah.
Right. So 90% of the breeders here in the United States, I'm not bad mouthing none of them. Okay. I can call some out right now if I wanted to, God damn it, but I ain't gonna do it. Jesus wept. Okay. So 90% of the breeders in the Doberman community are not breeding for what I like.
Okay.
They're breeding for the aesthetics, but they're not breeding
Yeah.
for the intangibles.
Yeah. That is
Okay.
true.
That's
Very
that's
true.
that's problem number one for me. Because even though I like a dog to work, he's got to look good too.
Oh, of course. You want a good looking dog. Who doesn't
Right.
want that?
Right. So most breeders are not breeding for the workability. They're
The
breeding for
function.
the they're breeding for the function and the lookability. I like that
Well,
word.
I
Lookability.
would say they're breeding for the lookability, not the function.
Lookability, that's correct.
Yeah.
The function is deterrence, just the the presence. The other thing is that
I
the
would
average
say, yeah. Well, yeah, but I would lump function is, yeah. Usually they think just for deterrence, but function also means work. When I
right,
think of function, it is
got
the
it.
work, to your point, the work ability.
So here's my thing. They're going to charge 3,500, $3,000 to $4,000. This is standard for a Doberman, full
Hmm.
AKC, and none of the parents have been proven or tested in the fact that how's their temperament.
Hmm.
Um, do they have prey drive? Are they skittish? Do they have environmental issues? These things are fucking genetic. These are not like they learn this. I mean, if a dog is skittish when he's born and nobody's never beat his ass, then he's going to be skittish for the rest of his life. That's genetic, right? They may have light brown eyes. I like dark black almond eyes on a black and tan Dobie. They may have a Z factor, which is an American bloodline three generations back. That means it can put out blues, whites, and fawns. I don't want that, right? So why would I give a breeder here in the United States $3,000 to $4,000? We don't know what their dogs are able to produce as far as workability. When I can easily pay 3 to 4,000 euros, which is say 4,000 euros, so that's $4,300. Get the same stuff, but the original. Where you know that over there in Eastern Europe, in order to even be a breeder,
Hmm.
each parent has to have some kind of title.
Yep, they're all titled.
All title,
They're all titled.
right.
That is true.
So now at least something
So,
is proven.
but I want to, yeah. So correctamundo on that point. The only other thing I would say, you're investing more because even if you paid 4,300 euro, notwithstanding the exchange rate, you still have to ship the dog. And now that we have to get him, normally, I'm assuming you're the same. We're getting the young adolescent to adults, full on grown adults. So the shipping is way high. So double that cost. But just if we want to let everyone know, there's a big monetary investment to do this. It is not the same, but
Absolutely. So
that's what makes it worth it, right?
right. So up until CDC's rules last year, you can
Mhm.
import a dog at 3 months or whatever, but now it's 6 months
6
minimum.
months.
Right. So for me, it's like I'll pay that 15, 18, $2,000 extra for shipping and $200 for custom broker.
Mhm.
I do that because at least I know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
I know that I have and nothing's guaranteed still. Okay,
Nothing's guaranteed, of course.
nothing's
You make the
guaranteed.
investment and you know that, there is always that chance. It's
Right,
business, it's also business, right? So you
right,
have to make the investment and hopefully you can get the return on your value, get the return on your investment.
right. And so for me, it's I have to, in this dog game that we're in, we have to be ever so evolving.
Hmm.
Everybody has a Tesla. More Teslas on the road than there are Rivians. I chose to buy a Rivian, but Tesla is the name, right?
But they're getting rid of them too, though. That's another story.
Exactly.
That's a story for another
So,
day.
but for me, I always want to be different. I don't want to have what everybody got.
Hmm.
And with that being said, that I have something different, I don't have a problem sharing what I have with others. Now, for me, I'm only a stud guy. I got 3 males. I'm a male gigolo dog, right? So I want to give the people the opportunity to have a part of what I have without going through the headache, because I've imported dogs from other breeders overseas, and they'll never seen your best.
Yeah, I think. Well,
They'll
like
seen you a great
should
one,
we should
not the
talk
best.
about that. Well,
Yeah,
we should talk about that though, right? Because
let's talk.
let's talk about that because especially early on in dealing with breeders, you have to find the right one and you have to develop a good relationship. If you're just meeting one off the top, they're never going to send you your best. But over time, we've definitely had to narrow down and build a trust. And even when they send you the best, they're going to use them first, especially if it's stud. They're going to stud that dog out. They're going to make sure they get their worth value out of it, and then they release it unless you start to get into some co-ownerships or whatever. But it takes time, and it's not like to your point, they're not just going to offer them your best right off the top, right off the rip.
You got to have. You're going to go through a few breeders over the course of your profession, your career with this dog game,
Yeah.
because the breeders over there that we bought from 16 years ago are not breeding anymore, right?
Hmm.
And other breeders are coming up that's doing great things. You want to be a part of that, right? So you're always going to use other breeders, but the main point, people, if you're going to import, you got to have a really good rapport.
You do. You
You better
do.
learn how to use WhatsApp.
You might need to learn a few of the language. You
Yeah.
better, you better know, or at least get into Google Translate and talk to a few people because they are very tight themselves, right?
Yes.
They know the game. They know the game,
And they
and
know each other.
they know. That's my point. They are very cross knit. Let's just be honest, and they have a very tight community.
If you go to my
And
Facebook page, on my personal Facebook, it's like, damn, how did he know Mike? And Mike knows Rada, and Rada knows Christina. I'm like, God damn, they all know each other.
they all know each other.
Yeah. So you can't, and that's a good thing too, because if one burns you and all of them know you're a good business,
Yeah.
then you won't get burned. They'll,
Right.
they'll, they'll fix that for you. So I got it.
Right.
Because we're
Yeah.
not, because we refer a lot of business too now.
Well, there's a symbiotic relationship because when you're working with them, they looking at us like, okay, there's the end, right? So, but yeah, so it goes both ways. But let's just face it. I'll say blood is thicker than water. So
Yep.
they're going to support theirs first, and you have to build a rapport, and it takes time, and it
Trust.
takes investment and trust. And then you got to
And
see, and you got
yes,
to have some smarts. You just can't believe and trust that you really have to know what to ask, what to look for. You just can't just
the
give
more
them
you,
all the
yeah, the more you ask questions, and I'm not saying just being garrulous and loquacious for shits and giggles, but the more you ask questions that they're hardly ever asked, the more they know that you know what you're talking about,
exactly
and it won't snowball you,
right.
right? um, I have, like I said, I'm into the Doberman thing heavily, but there are things that I ask for. Case in point, when I'm about to, first of all, one of my best males, my best male passed away 3 weeks ago from bloat.
Mm.
Um, And so I have a great connection with some breeders over there that all know me by first name.
Mm.
And I'm buying a puppy. He's 6 weeks old. His father is stacked. I'm talking about IGP3, ZTP, um, confirmation, first place, all the way down from puppy to adulthood. He's a killer. He's
Nice.
beautiful and he's a worker. The mama is just as stacked with the working titles, which is very rare in the Doberman world to have a
For
female.
female?
Yes, for a
Hmm.
female to have a level 2 protection title
Hmm.
and confirmation shows on a first place. So
Is
my
it more
thing,
or less not the confirmation?
she has more confirmation, but she does have an IGP2
Hmm.
and she has a ZTP because you only can get an IGP3. Um, so my thing is that they know that um, I'm gonna put them. When I buy a puppy from a breeder over there, I deliberately tag them because people know when I put my name on it that it's gospel. And if I say they're good people, they
Hmm.
trust that,
Yeah.
right? So it's symbiotic, like you said. It goes hand in hand. One hand
Hmm.
watches the other. So somebody asked a question for you. What is this?
What do you look for?
What do you look for?
Oh,
What is this?
in terms of which dogs to breed, what time? What I
I
think he's
guess
talking
so.
about. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a really good question. I think we you Jesus, I think we were talking about that a little bit earlier in terms of phenotypically, well, there's a phenotype that we like that we stick to. And if you can flash our website again, that was cool.
You like that?
Yeah, yeah, I
Hey,
like
people,
that.
go to her website. Hold on,
Flash the
let
website.
me get back to the
Yeah,
front page.
yeah.
Clash of the Titans. So where we click
And
at?
yeah, go into males. I think you were in Cayuse's one. Yeah, click
Click on
his.
him.
Yeah, and scroll down. Yeah, so Cayuse was he's the man. I love Cayuse. But we're gonna look for a particular um, head structure, profile, that line, um, the width of the chest, that just classic old world Italian rustic look. That's what we're going to look for from a phenotypical perspective. But then there's the other things, and we talked about whether these are proven dogs or these dogs have been titled. But then there's another part that I always want to make sure that we talk about, and that is temperament and personality, because that plays such a big part too. Their temperament, let's talk about the easy stuff. Temperament, what they're born with, if they're skittish, if they're not. Let's say they have an even stable mind. Okay, great. But what's their personality? Because no two dogs are alike, even these particular breeds. So we live on a farm, we have a family, and so I'm gonna know one that has very high prey drive that I cannot have around my cats, no matter what. And then I'm gonna know the ones that are like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. I'm gonna really focus on um, the real threats and not the squirrel, that kind of thing. So,
Or the goats.
or the goats, right? So those make a difference in terms of when we say which sire are we going to use versus which dam. What's this one? What's the difference with American Corso?
Is there a such thing as that?
I don't think so. But well, yes, in terms of there's been this debate from the very beginning. They're American Corsos, meaning Americanized, and maybe a deviation from the FCI definition or breed standard versus what Americans like, right? Americans like bigger, badder, bulkier,
Can you hold
heavier.
for Can you hold for a minute? Can you hold for a minute?
Sure,
Hold for a minute.
sure. I think we're still alive.
Hold on for a minute.
I hope everyone holds on. While you're holding on, check out my YouTube channel, 12 Titans Kennels. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram, of course. We're on TikTok, Facebook. We've got most of the big social media channels covered. You can even Google us, and you'll see quite a lot, quite a lot. And if you guys are still hanging on, we've been doing this for 13, 14 years. It's been some time.
Oh, sorry about that. Jesus.
Don't worry, I was entertaining them while you were gone.
Good. Okay. All right. There's a little emergency out there. It has nothing to do with us, but
Oh,
it's crazy. Anyway, sorry about
okay.
that, people.
Yeah.
So here we go. So what's the next question? We saw that one. I've been to your channel. Great work. Appreciate it. And guy, I apologize for the interruption. Woo, we're back.
It
Anyway,
happens.
so let me give actually another question.
Yeah.
And I've asked this before. We're talking about it now. The white spots on a Cane Corso's chest.
Yeah.
Is that preferred or not preferred? Because
That
you got a
depends
dog
on.
that has no white spots.
Yeah. And we have dogs that have white chest marks. White chest marks are acceptable. It is not a disqualification. It's not a DQ for a Cane Corso. It is acceptable. Now, preferred, some people want the all black Cane
I want the
Corso.
all black.
All black, no white,
All black, no
you know.
white, black and
And
white.
it's like, oh my God. Okay, so I'll say this: we do not breed for color, per se.
Shouldn't the
Per
world
se.
be like that?
Well, yeah, that's another debate. You
Yeah,
know, that's another debate.
go ahead.
Um, so we don't necessarily breed for color, and of course, I caveat it because we now have some straw colored, and people are like, "Well, what the heck? That's not a true color." Blah, blah." We can get into that. But aside from our straws, we don't intentionally say, I'm only going to strive for a, a color, this type of dog, because we care a little bit more, or a lot more, about those other things that we mentioned, right? So
Right.
if you're just chasing a color, then you're missing it per se. Now, if they come out, because you can naturally produce solid with no spots
Is
or
that
some
possible?
spot. Yeah, absolutely. They come in. They Everything is acceptable, but I mean not everything. Those things are acceptable. Um, so it's preference. So for you, yeah. And a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are like, I want all black, nothing. And we tell them, well, we're not breeding for color, so maybe we're not for you, and it's okay. Now, if we have them, we have a reservation list, and most of our folks are like, look, they more care about those other things I mentioned, especially once you check all those other boxes, especially when they get to, okay, what's the temperament of this dog? What's the personality? We're ready, you know. And that's cool by us. We're not a fit for everyone, but for those we are.
So
Thank
let
you.
me ask you this. So you have Frenchies too now.
We do. We've had Frenchies.
Why?
Because I want to. That's why. Because I said so. There it is. In fact, go back to the website. Go back to the website.
Okay, here we go.
Now
Okay.
go to, oh, you know what? I don't even have that live link. Are you in, can you get to the URL?
Yes, go ahead. What you want me to type in?
I want you just to go ahead and type in the 12 Titans
Uh
dot
huh.
kennels.com
Uh huh.
/, you ready?
Uh huh.
Then put in 2025 dash FB,
FB.
yep, dash litter, like LITTER
Uh huh.
dash A. Hopefully I said that right.
Wow.
Ta-da!
Hibachi style.
Yeah, so all my Frenchies, I call them hibachi bites. That's Wasabi. He's my stud. He's my Frenchie stud, and he's He's co-founder of our store. We have a store. And that's Miso, his current, well, she's his sidekick. His true love is Asha the Cane Corso. But those are our babies. Our This is our oopsie litter. This wasn't necessarily planned, but he decided
Hmm.
we're gonna do this. And so yeah. So why do we have Frenchies? Because I want them. Because I love them. Because I can. Because we have the space there.
Because you can.
Because I can.
So, um,
What else you got?
let me see. Do you? So for me, like I said, I'm a stud guy. So my dogs have to be a little bit more than average, always. Is Are any of your dogs ever in any kind of confirmation shows or protection shows or anything?
Yeah, so you actually was showing him Cayuse. You were showing him, and I think I have some of the stuff that he was doing.
Let me get there.
I can't remember. I'm, I haven't updated it in a while, but I'm pretty sure I do have some stuff on there. Yeah, and then
Well, he's a champion.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then his son is Farouk, who is twice the size of him. Twice the size of him. So you take him and then just go boom,
Right
kaboom.
here?
Yeah, no, no, I'm saying like I don't know if I even
Yeah.
have Farouk on here, but take Cayuse and envision a dog even taller and bigger and just like phenomenal. He produced Farouk, and Farouk is our he's his heir apparent.
Now there was a dog that I saw on one of your episodes that you wasn't supposed to, he was a return. You wasn't supposed to get him, but you look at it, it's like, you know what, he's a nice looking male. He was a black male. I'm sorry,
He,
a
a,
black
re,
dog. I mean
a
a black dog
return,
with no spots. He
a
was on there. He said
return.
we wasn't supposed to keep him, but we end up keeping him anyway, and he's got a good temperament. I forgot which episode that was.
Was hmm was he going out with the family?
I think I think you returned him from. I think he was a return where they sent him back to you.
Well, those were females. I had two females that were came back, but I haven't had any males that came back like that. But I had two females. Are you talking about an episode on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the females. Those are females, not males.
Wow. I
Mhm.
love heavy looking females.
Mhm.
Females that look like males. Because really, most of the DNA is coming from the female.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that picture on the homepage, that second picture, take a look at that. That's a female. That's Asha. So if you go to the homepage, yeah, see?
This
That's
right here
Asha.
is a
Yeah.
female.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, YouTube shows better. Those are old. But oh, you know what? Go down. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Let me show you. Go back. Go back.
Look at
Zara.
Storm.
Look at Zara. Yeah, look at Zara.
Look at that
Now
face.
she's not. I like to show her because she's not even cropped or docked. But like, look at that head on her.
Wow.
Look at that head. Yep. Look at that. That's a good one to show. Yep. Yep. That's a good one. She was like our tallest. Now she passed about a year and a half ago. But yeah. And Zara is the mother of like we have three of her daughters here at the house.
You keeping
Oh,
that bloodline, huh?
I'm keeping it. But we have another question. Why do
Hold on, let me
people
see here. Yeah,
why do
why
people
do people
diss?
diss the
Well,
tricolor?
because now, it's well, number one, I don't even really know where a try came from. I didn't see them until American folks start creating try. So let's make a distinction between try and straw. There is a such thing as a straw. There was a function for it that exists of Cane Corso. You can argue, oh, they were mixed and there was a reason. Well, yeah, but they served a function. They literally wanted them white so they can hide amongst their livestock. But try Cane Corso, I don't. It's. it's a mixed bloodline, but for what purpose? Just because of the look and who did it? Is it something Americanized? I mean, I'm asking like a question too because I had never even seen or heard of a try until I saw it and I figured it here, and therefore it just looked like, well, I think they just mixed them up with something.
What's your Instagram? Let me put it up for her people. Yes, there
There
we
you
go.
go. Check us out.
Here's another good question. Oh, that's
That's
for
for
me.
you. That's for you to answer.
Oh, we got a litter dropping, man, in next week.
Oh,
Vasquez
imminent.
European Dobermans. Vasquez European Dobermans. Look him up. His female actually got a French ring brevet title, and we bred her to Cisco. So it's going to be all working litter. But this is not about me. This is about Ericka at 12 Titans. Don't ask me no questions about me. Let me ask you
Yeah.
something. Let me see. Of all the breeders that you know of, because I know you know a lot of Cane Corso breeders here in the United States, what makes your kennel different?
Hmm.
Yours.
That's a very good question. Um, I like to pride myself, first of all, on we do our own thing. We are not in competition with anyone other than ourselves. And making that experience for our families, I think, makes a big difference. It's not about tearing down someone else. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It is literally like, how can we invest in ourselves and our dogs so that this time next year, there's something better for them? So that this time, 2 years from now, we have grown, we can offer something better, and that's what I believe has made us successful. If you ask me, oh, I saw such and such and such on somebody else's channel, I'm like, I don't even watch other people's stuff. I keep up with things, but I don't really, the word is not that I don't care, but I don't have the time to sit here and judge and worry about what someone else is doing because we're too busy trying to invest in us. That's my answer.
Great answer.
Trucker.
So we're not going to say names because they can probably figure it out when they go to your YouTube channel. People go to her, click click subscribe, hit that notification
Hit
bell,
that notification,
bang
all the
bang
good stuff.
bang.
All that good
But
stuff.
you have sold some dogs to some very high profile people.
We have.
How did they find you?
It's funny. It's funny. I don't even know. You know what? That's a good question. A couple of referrals. Okay, so a couple of referrals, and then some people just found us who just followed us and then contacted. So one in particular, this was a few years ago. Um, she was following us, and I noticed. You can see who likes your stuff, and I was going, "Is that
Hmm,
who I think it is?"
it is, girl.
And then yes, right. And I said, "Oh," and so I told my husband, I said, "I think so and so is liking our stuff." And then he was like, "Really? Let's look." And she was consistently liking us. And then she would comment, and then she would say stuff, and I go, and then in one day, bling, "Hello, Erica. Yes, I'm so and so." And I was like, "Oh, nice. Great to meet you. Why are you calling me?" And the rest is history. And so it just happened that we do have a lot of a few celebrities. We have a lot of athletes, quite frankly, a lot of athletes. A lot of business people that you might not even know, like I don't know what you call them, um, top business owners, and not nothing to do with dogs or anything, but it's just interesting that we've attracted a certain folks, and this is not to say just because we have a celebrity that's better than our everyday folks. That's not it. It was just interesting. Like, how did they come to know us? Because we don't necessarily actively spend a lot of time at you know how they have the dog shows or dog dog shows or whatever. Someone does a venue, and we don't do a lot of that. We don't. We while we do have some level of presence in social media and out there, we're not actively like putting up signs and things like that. So I can't answer how they found us, but it has organically grown. I do know some have referrals, but it just again, maybe we just attract a certain type of folk. I don't know. I really don't, but it's nice when they do, and we still don't, except for one that we did kind of showcase because she comes back quite often, quite often. We still talk today. Um, it just kind of happens, and we don't necessarily try to make that a big deal, like hey, so and so. But for a couple of them, just because it's actually developed into a friendship that I think it's been a friendship, and I could comment on her post, and she'll immediately say something back or whatever. So it's kind of cool.
You know what's interesting is that I've sold the dogs to a few celebrities, and I'll put their name out there because the way it went down is you would never know.
Hmm.
So when I advertise a litter that I sired, I put them everywhere. AKC Marketplace,
Mm.
Dogs Now, puppyfind.com,
Mm.
next day puppy, next day everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was getting calls from this one guy who said, "Yeah, we're talking about the dog, man. Can we come out? Can look at him?" I was like, "Cool, cool, no problem. Here's Ralph's number. Contact Ralph. He'll let you have." So when the people was come pick up the dogs, I showed up because I give free T-shirts. Well, they think it's free, but they really paid for it, right? And I was like, "What's all these fucking two SUVs roll up here just for one dog?" So the bodyguard guy came out and he came inside. He looked at the litter. It's okay. We'll be right back. He
Right.
went to the other car. Then the
Check it
lady
out
gets
first.
out and she walks in, and it's like, this is Margie Harvey. What is
Mhm.
this? Right? But see
Mhm.
what? So I didn't know. A lot of times, some celebs won't. They have other people doing this stuff for
Right.
them.
They do it for them.
Right.
Mhm.
So I didn't know that Margie would be buying a dog from us. But I
Mhm.
treated everybody the same when I talked to them because you never know.
You never know.
You never know. So,
Yeah.
but the flip side of that is that even though Margie has a dog named Bear, the Doberman, that's from me. They never plug me. It's the
Mm.
people that are not famous who plugs me. And
Mm.
when I tag her ass on that photo, she ain't saying nothing, but she
Mm.
ain't like, "Hey man, you gave me a great dog."
Oh.
But at the same time, I'm sure she got a lot of stuff going on,
Sure. Sure.
and,
Sure.
and I can't take it personal, but it's beautiful that people are enjoying what I have to offer them, no matter
Yeah.
who they are.
Well, if you said that, then I'll say this. We definitely have a lot of athletes, a lot of them, but one in particular, Layla Ali, I consider like a friend. I
Yeah,
can I can tag her, or she tags us no problem. She gives us no problem giving us endorsements. She'll do that all the time, and she's. I think those are like, and I'm not saying the others are not real, but the real kind of down to earth, there's I don't know, there's a difference,
yeah.
she's like anybody else, and when you talk
She's
to
a
her,
real mother.
just
Like,
oh yeah, just
yeah. So
um so those are nice, but we also respect them too. We don't want to be like, we got dogs from them, we
yeah,
gave them dogs, we gave
yeah.
since I don't think that's necessarily appropriate. And like I said, I will say this, I challenge you right now, you can't really even find where I have an advertisement for a puppy. So show me anywhere where you say, I'm saying, hey, I got this litter. We don't,
You don't
we have
because
it.
you have a
We
waiting
don't have
list.
this. We have a waiting list. We don't have to. We don't have to. We don't have to.
Let me see. Get some more comments here. See, hello. Appreciate the contents put out, Gerald, helping expose all the great breeders. Yeah, man, I got to put them out there, man. People need to know about these hidden gems. Um, great answer. What's something you look for in a person when they
Mhm.
want to buy a cane? Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Damn.
Now that
Ooh,
alpha dog is a really good question. Um, their readiness. right? They're are they well equipped? Now, it doesn't mean that you have to know everything and you've got everything perfect, but if they haven't really spent any time researching this breed, maybe even researching breeders, getting out, I mean, you haven't even seen the dog in real life. Like, they really, I like the people, I will say this, if you speak to people that know me, I take my time. I'm not in a rush. I truly also have a lot going on. I mean, I got health things going on. I've got just a business. We have a store. We've got, we work. We do all this stuff. We live on a farm. We got a homestead thing going on. Um, I'm not in a rush. So just because you say I got money and I need a puppy, I'm gonna be like, well, okay, but is the Corso for you? What do you know about the course? Or what do you know about us? Don't you want to know anything about us? If you don't even know about us, I don't want to know about you because you don't care where you're getting your dog from. And we've encountered that. Um, but those who, maybe slow down and really, and it's not necessarily interrogation, but we do care who about our puppies, and we do want them to have a life of happiness, and that we know, okay, things happen, but you know these folks that are going to take them in are committed, and because it's not going to be easy. I mean, there's going to be great times, but it's a life, it's a being, it's a kid. There's going to be good times, and you too might have your pool table leg chewed up. you know you those things can happen.
That's
So
right. That's
you
right.
know
And they're babies,
they're
and
babies.
I was talking to a lady today, and I know we got to close this out pretty soon. I was talking to her today. She's got a 7-month-old pup. She's only had him for 2 months, and she's already sending him off to board and train.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you got to bond with the
You
dog
gotta bond with them. Mhm.
until once you bond, then yeah, you can do a board and train. But right now, he don't know who mama is. He's been
Mhm.
sold twice.
Mm.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you for coming on my show.
Yes, it's been a pleasure.
And I was excited when you actually replied. And I was like, I'm not finna do all this thumb texting to her. Let me send a voice memo. I'm like, because I'm going to misspell some stuff because it's early in the morning, ain't got my glasses on. I said, let me send a voicemail message. It's more personable. And you hear my concept and why I want to bring you on. And it worked out great. We got to do this
Yeah, it
again.
did. We should.
We got to do
We
this
should.
again.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
until next time, people, stay resilient, but be responsible. Take care.